My name is Sarah Hildebrandt. I am the 50 kilogram rep for 2024 Paris Olympics. So I started wrestling when I was in 7th grade. Basically, before that, I was just drugged to wrestling tournaments because my brothers wrestled. And I'm like, you know what, I could do that. So I was just kind of around in the environment, and then eventually they just didn't have somebody to fill the 75-pound weight class. And I was like, 65 pounds sopping wet. They were like, okay, you just go out there, don't get pinned. That'll be a win for us. And went out there, won my first match, and now here I am getting ready for my second Olympics. Wrestling has been a family affair. So my older brother was the one who started wrestling, kind of just brought home a flyer one day. Hey, I want to try this. Little did we know it was going to become just this whole nucleus of our family. Everybody's played such a huge role in getting me prepared. I wrestled my older brother before, and then my younger sister came out for 2020 Olympics to get me ready, and then now for this Olympics, my youngest brother came out, and he's been my drill partner and coach and therapist and kick my butt person all in one. Obviously having my brother with me is just a constant reminder and perspective for me of just bigger things, I make this so serious, and then here I have my brother, my best friend, right next to me, just constantly reminding me of my values and that, we're bigger than our results. It's just super cool to get to share that with my siblings and obviously my parents as well. To have something that our whole family can share that way is so cool, and it really just puts everything into perspective every time I step on the mat. Well, I played a lot of sports. I actually wasn't a single sport athlete till my senior year of high school, which seems so crazy in this day and age. But I didn't have Olympic aspirations in any other sport besides wrestling. Even when I was, dancing or playing soccer, running track, wrestling was my favorite above all. I knew that's where it was always gonna come down to just wrestling. I loved playing other sports. I would recommend it. I still got to this level, and by doing multiple other sports most of my life. I feel like when I was a kid, I was just yeah, I'm going to the Olympics one day. And then as I came in, there was lots of doubt, lots of things that happened, but there's always this underlying, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. And that kind of kept me waking up in the morning and getting after it. But I truly, believe in yourself. This can be your dream. If this is what you're passionate about, whatever you're passionate about, go after it. Go be passionate for it. So that would be my advice.
Who's been kind of your biggest
Ooh, definitely Clarissa Chen. She was the first woman wrestler that I really ever saw, had access to, grew up on a boys team. She was, I got a USA Wrestling magazine in the mail, and she was on the cover, just won worlds, holding a bouquet of flowers, and I'm just oh my gosh, that could be me. And fast forward, 10 years or so, she's my coach at the Olympic Games, she's my coach here at the Olympic Training Center, and what a full circle moment, just to have somebody I looked up to now step in and be my coach, my training partner. That's kind of what I aspire to be. 2022 was really rough. I had a lot of moments where I was I'm done with this. And then I was really miserable. It was just a lot for me. And so it was a really challenging year for me. Also just simultaneously doing that while also healing from the Olympics in 2020. I didn't meet my goals, so there was a lot of healing that needed to take place, a lot of personal reflection. Because when I ended the Tokyo Olympics, I knew things needed to change, mentally, spiritually, everything, even physically. And that was really when I was beginning to kind of take that departure from how I used to train to how I train now. And I think just that discomfort and something so new, and that scared, you're scared to kind of change ships. And really those changes have looked like stepping into just a radical acceptance and trust in myself and my intuition and believing in that. And I'm not just this, husk of a person who's just so disciplined that the humanness of me has been squeezed out. That's what it felt like at Tokyo. I was so disciplined, I was so yes woman that there was no personality left in me, and I knew I couldn't keep wrestling like that. That's not why I wrestled. And it was so scary to depart from that because I was somewhat successful with that, recipe. And I really feel over the course of the last 3 years, I've just stepped up into this very authentic version of myself. And that's what I'm going to the mat with. And it's coming all from me. And I'm calling the shots, and that's really scary. But yeah, that's really what been the biggest changes, is really just this radical trust in myself and believing that, that's enough. I feel like in 2023, I was kind of starting to find my footing, which was nice and all until you get to 2024 when like the mountain of stress dumps on you. So I really needed that strong foundation that 2023 provided. The mental sports psychology side of it is the biggest game changer for me, and really what the last 3 years is where I've spent the majority of my time. At this level, everyone works hard, everyone goes to practice, everyone lifts weights. I truly believe where I'll find the biggest edge is in my mental preparation. And that's also the thing that can kind of throw the most curveballs. I just don't know what thoughts are gonna pop into my head come competition day. But most likely they're gonna be very uncomfortable thoughts. They're gonna be, just flashing awful scenarios and oh my gosh, and doubt and fear. I am constantly writing things down. Like every competition, I write nearly every single detail down, so I can just reflect what worked, what didn't. And so now I have 20 years worth of notes to come into this competition with. And I truly believe I'm stepping into that competition with having done the most I could do. I have the most information I could possibly have gathered, and I'm going to do what the best I absolutely can with that. So it's super helpful in that sense, having competed so long and so much, and being like, the senior and the veteran in the group now, just putting in the time, learning about that, learning about my mind, being non-judgmental as I can about the thoughts that are constantly floating through my head, and hopefully just riding my emotions instead of tethering myself to them and getting whipped around. So much harder than it seems. Hopefully come showtime, the effort that I put in there will, show on the mat.
Talk about your training preparation for the Paris Olympics, as opposed to what it was like for Tokyo. Obviously, that was very different.
It's so interesting. I love this question because even leading into trials, so even within this year's time frame, I was comparing Tokyo Olympics to this Olympics prep, and the fact that they were so different was terrifying to me, and it was like a sign of trouble. It was like, oh my God, we're doing something wrong. It's so different. And obviously things are different because of COVID and all of that. But within the last month or so, that reflection has turned into a source of pride. Looking back on it now, seeing all those changes, it's really cool. It's a source of pride right now. And my favorite place wrestling has taken me, Thailand was nice. And I'll tell you what, my first overseas trip was to Thailand. And I'm like, this is awesome. And then the very next one, I'm like, Siberia, Russia, it's -47 degrees. My eyelashes are frozen. I'm like, this is not what I was expecting. So Thailand was really, really awesome. Japan is always amazing. Obviously, I'm excited to wrestle. I really am. I'm excited to step up at that stage. But having my whole family there this time is just so cool. I'm so excited to see everyone. We're bringing 15 people. It's crazy. It's gonna be a zoo. And I'm excited to share that moment with them and just all come together and soak it all in. At the highest level, there's not an event, not a stage I haven't stepped on. And that's powerful walking into any competition. World Championship years are always really, really fun, and I think they each were kind of their own individual year that brought something new to the table. On top of that, these are the same women that I've wrestled for the last 4 years. I know them all. We've wrestled at the smallest events, we've wrestled at the biggest events, and just kind of puts things into perspective because it's easy to get swept up in Olympic hoopla. But at the end of the day, these are the same women that I toe the line with every single time I step on the mat for the last 4 years. We have that mutual respect for each other that we're just gonna step on the mat and bring it, and I like that. Team USA, my family, my training partners, and all the fans and supporters, thank you so much. You guys seriously make this whole event. It is so special to get to represent each and every one of you when I step on the mat, and I carry everybody's love and support every time I strap up.
What can the audience back home expect from this passion, heart?
Oh, I love that question. I really hope I show and you can feel like a very authentic version of myself out there, and just, that consists of passion and love and creativity. And I have this yoga block at practice that have all my values written on it, and that is those things: creativity, love, effort, authenticity, contribution. And I just really, really hope that that's what I'm embodying. And I hope it's in a sense that is palpable, in a way that people can actually pick up on it. Maybe if it's not something as, defined as, oh, that's effort out there, but They just see a very authentic, a true version of myself. I hope that's what shows. And if I'm doing that, then I cannot lose.